Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Stadium Sessions, and I hope everybody's doing okay on this Wednesday morning. Amelia, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
How's your Cardinals doing?
They're not doing too bad. They lost Monday night. I don't know about last night. I was busy working, but I need to get on and see.
Yeah, I'm still pulling for them to win the World Series because my chemistry teacher, Mr. Howard, said that if they won last night, which I hope they did, I have to check on that too, that if they did win last night, I get a bonus point on my chemistry test that I had to take today. And if they win the World Series, he said that not only me, but our whole entire class would get 10 bonus points. So thank you, Mr. Howard. I really hope they win the World Series. That would probably that would do me some good, I'd say. But
Yeah.
anyway, coming up on today's show, we'll talk a little Razorback football, and the Razorbacks have really kind of turned the corner of the earlier part of the season that they had. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we'll also talk some NASCAR. We haven't talked about that in a couple of weeks. And we'll give a check-in onto the playoff, the chase for the Sprint Cup. So stick around. There's more Stadium Sessions coming up after the break. It's time to get back to Stadium Sessions, and let's talk a little bit of Razorback football. This has actually been a pretty big topic in the college football world. The Razorbacks did start their season on a pretty high note, but they have diminished here lately with first-year head coach Brett Bielema. The Razorbacks have lost the last few games, including the Texas A&M game, which I also thought they could have won. They should have won that game, actually, and they should have won the Rutgers game, but they was without quarterback Brandon Allen, so that was pretty much a driving factor to the reason why they lost Rutgers. And of course, Texas A&M going up against the Heisman winner of the Heisman Award from last season probably played a pretty big key into that loss against Texas A&M. And of course, that grueling 52-7 loss over South Carolina last week for homecoming. So things just haven't been going good for the Razorbacks so far this season, and it's not going to get better this weekend as they travel to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to play the Alabama Crimson Tide. And they are the national champions. They're currently 6-0 right now, so it's going to be a pretty tough game for Arkansas, I think. And I do have a lot of hope that they will turn this season around and end it on a pretty high note. And this is a rebuilding year. I understand that. They have a lot of freshmen and sophomore players that will step up and be really good talented juniors and seniors next season. So I'm really hoping that my Razorbacks can pull out and have a pretty decent ending to the season. So we're coming up on Stadium Sessions. We'll talk a little NASCAR Sprint Cup action, and they had to head to Talladega this weekend, so we'll talk more about that coming up next. You're listening to Stadium Sessions on the Crowder Century News Network. Hey everybody, welcome back to Stadium Sessions, and someone just walked into our studio. Say hi.
Hey Ryan.
Anyway, last weekend at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Brad Keselowski scored his first Sprint Cup Series victory of the season, and Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson continue to lead the point standings throughout the chase for the Sprint Cup. And they head to Talladega this weekend, where they will face the restrictor plate track, and the last one for the season, actually. So it should be a pretty good race. And my pick, I think, to win this weekend is going to be Earnhardt Jr., because I think he is very overdue for a win in the Sprint Cup Series. He hasn't had one since last season, I believe, or it's been a while, so been over a year. So I'm really hoping that Junior will get the victory this weekend, and Talladega is a pretty good track for that, actually. Well, coming up next on Stadium Sessions, we'll talk Crowder Century Sports MVP, so stick around. Hey, welcome back to Stadium Sessions. It's Crowder's new sports podcast show. And our last guest on that last segment was our advisor, Mrs. Bailey. I don't think we mentioned her name, so just thought I'd throw that out there. We actually have another guest that has taken Mrs. Bailey's spot for this segment. Want to introduce yourself, James?
Hey, I'm James. Yeah.
Way to put him on the spot, Ryan. Way to put him on the spot.
He is the host of Coffee Break News, and you can catch that on Mondays here on the Crowder Century News Network. And anyway, let's talk a little bit of Crowder Century Sports MVP. The contest has officially started, and you can vote in the cafeteria and on www.crowdercentury.com, and it'll be under our weekly poll. And I believe you have until October 26th to vote. So, and we have all sorts of candidates. We have 2 candidates from baseball, softball, and soccer, and only 1 from basketball because the basketball team's a pretty small team. There's only like 9 players. So, and anyway, yeah, you can vote online, vote in the cafeteria during lunchtime. And we also have a QR code on some of our flyers throughout the Neosho campus. And most of the flyers are on the first floor. We have some in the student center. You just scan the QR code with your cellular device, and it'll take you straight to our website. That's crowdercentury.com, and look for our weekly poll, and you can vote for who you want to win the October Century Sports MVP Award for the Crowder Century. And the winner will be featured on Stadium Sessions in a future episode, so that's something to look forward to. And that's all the time we have for Stadium Sessions this week, and we hope you'll join us next week. And we're still working on getting that special guest. I know we talk about that every week, but it's pretty hard getting in a top college football coach to appear on our podcast show. But stick around and we'll keep you updated on if we can get him in here or not. Do you think we'll get him in here, Amelia?
I think we will.
Do you think so, James?
There's a chance. Yeah.
I mean, if you're behind it, we're going to get him in.
All right. Take the school by storm if that happens.
Yep.
All right, well, join us next week on Stadium Sessions. You have a great week, everybody, and enjoy your weekend. Catch a good sporting event. Crowder Softball will be hosting their alumni game this weekend, so I'll be out there taking some pictures for the Century. So if by any chance you recognize me and listen to my voice, come by and say hi, shake my hand, and I'll say hi to you back. So anyway, have a great weekend, everybody.